Hello, this is Miss Pac-Man in the game Namco Museum for GBA. I'm running this in the emulator mGBA in Windows. I am going to be focusing on Miss Pac-Man, but I guess we might as well take a quick peek at the other games in this little Namco Museum edition, although I'm not really into shooting guns, so that'll be short. But anyway, we got pole position. Whoa. Okay. I think she said prepare to qualify. Ah, it's just like the arcade. Look at that puka sign or whatever the heck that was. Uh-oh. Oh, heck. Was that a giant hot dog billboard? Oh. 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 This would be better if I had a big steering wheel or something, you know? I'm playing this on a dual sense. Ah, what does that button do? I guess that's brakes. Okay, well, that's cool. So, these other games that were vertical in the arcade, yeah, there's no full screen option, so you can only see like half of the screen at once. I don't really want to shoot these poor guys with harpoons either. Anyway, let's dig Doug. Yeah, you have to scroll the screen a lot. Galaga. Wonder if this is based on the NES version. It kind of looks like it. Dig Dug didn't look like it was based on the NES version, but this... Or wait, am I thinking of the NES version, or am I thinking of... Was there an NES version? No, I'm thinking of like the version on the PS1. Yeah, I don't know about NES Galaga. Was there NES Galaga? I don't know. This looks like the PS1 version, more or less. And then Galaxian, which is actually the prequel to Galaga. Those guys are pretty low res. Alright, well, that's great. So anyway, Miss Pac-Man. So Miss Pac-Man does have a full screen mode, which is the one I'm going to play. I guess we'll take a look at the scrolling mode quickly, because you do get like, you know, full arcade size sprites. You know, that's a pretty close to arcade looking Miss Pac-Man there, and the ghosts look pretty much like their arcade counterparts, and the maze looks pretty much like as detailed as it was in the arcade version. Just, you know, you gotta scroll the tiny screen to be able to see the whole maze, which is a difficult way to play Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man. Hey, I'm still alive. So I've had some foreboding going into playing this version of Miss Pac-Man. I like how the icons at the bottom are slightly overlapping the playable area in this scrolling version. It's kind of cool looking, actually. My trepidation stems from having played the collection that has regular Pac-Man in it just a few sessions ago. And that was in a collection called, what was it, just called Pac-Man Collection, that was Pac-Man and 3 other games, pretty much like this. And these collections came out, like I see now I have to scroll and I forgot where the dots were. These 2 GBA collections came out like within a month or 2 of each other in early to mid 2001, I think it was. But this one actually came out first. So there isn't much chance that it will run better than the Pac-Man one, I wouldn't think, given that the Pac-Man one came out later. I guess you never know, they could have screwed something up. Because anyway, the Pac-Man one, I was having a heck of a time just getting anywhere, and I kept just doing dumb stuff and dying, which is typical for me. Well, that was pretty dumb in Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man, but it was just worse than ever, and I was just like, what's going on? I want to eat the strawberry before I quit. There we go. I feel better. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, we have to do that. And I finally just realized that the game was running just a little slow somehow. And afterwards, after recording, I actually, guess we're gonna watch full screen. I went and like timed the time it takes in the GBA version, in that GBA version of Pac-Man versus the Pac-Man ROM I have running in MAME. I timed the time it takes for Pac-Man to like go around the sort of the bottom loop of the maze, and it ended up being the same in both of them. So it's not like the game was running slower outright, but somehow it has a sensation of being slower. And I don't know if it's just like sporadic slowdown or slowdown in when the ghosts are in certain positions or when Pac-Man is or what. I don't know. Oh wait, I forgot something. I was messing around also with shoot. Okay, I hope this doesn't screw up the recording. Hang on. Sit tight. I got it. I think I set my frame rate, I think I set the frame rate to something a little off kilter. Oh no, we're back on 60. Okay, so we're on 60 frames a second, I guess. You can also set it to GBA natives 59.7 or something. I'll just leave it on 60, which is the default. Anyway, that stuff didn't make a difference in my experience with the Pac-Man collection. But after recording, I tried increasing the frame rate a bit. Like the Pac-Man arcade ROM, according to MAME, runs at like 60.6 frames per second. And I tried that, but that didn't. I tried setting the emulator mGBA to that frame rate, but that didn't change the sensation of the game running slow. So I don't know what it is exactly. And I tried setting it to really high frame rate, and that didn't help either. Even though it did noticeably decrease the amount of time it took to run around that loop of the maze, for instance. But, so yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we'll see if I have that problem in this Miss Pac-Man version. But I think the thing was, like, I just felt like it was slow, and so I was subconsciously, more or less, trying to take shortcuts all the time. You know, to like get around the maze as fast as my mind and fingers felt like I should be getting around the maze. And of course that just leads to me dying, because you can't really take stupid risks and get away with them a lot in these old arcade games. They're brutal. And then it was also, I could also tell it was running, well, the way I ultimately was able to tell it was running a little slow somehow, was that once I got up to a, you know, for me, a fairly high stage, it was like the bell stages. I don't remember what stage that is, like number-wise, but at those stages, it's usually hard for me to control the game, to like react to the ghosts and stuff, because they're moving fast and Pac-Man's moving pretty fast. But in the GBA collection, in the Pac-Man collection on GBA, it just felt like sort of a pleasant cruising speed. So something's up with the speed of the game in that version. And that's the Pac-Man one. So I mean, this feels exactly like the same engine. The thing I like about it is that just super chunky graphics mode you get here. I think that's pretty cool looking. I think they did a good job making it look kind of cute, really. That was a bad idea. I'm not playing well. I wasn't trying to take a shortcut per se. I wonder why. There is this weird, like, what is this animation? Why is there a flickering pixel behind her? Like body, like lower down. Like, what is that? Oh, there's a little missing sound effect there when I ate too many ghosts in a row. Hey, we're getting some good ghost eating. Too bad I've already lost 2 lives. Oh, wow, I'm doing dumb stuff. I still have lives, what the heck? What ghost? Dang it, no, they didn't, oh. That was a joke. I was doing so good at eating. Failed completely. I can swear that the sound is cleaner in this. In Pac-Man there was this kind of just static background noise to the sound samples or something, and I'm not hearing that so much here. I just want the orange. Oh, dang it. Wow, that was just... See, for a while I was thinking, is there like input delay or something, but I don't know. Could just be input delay, I suppose, but it doesn't really feel like super bad as far as input delay goes. That would be a convenient excuse, basically. I mean, Miss Pac-Man is a slightly faster game than Pac-Man anyway in the early stages, so maybe that will help me out a little. Because, like, that Pac-Man collection just really felt like it was crawling in the early stages, even though apparently, according to the stopwatch, it wasn't. But no, man. Something was up with it. Because I got like the biggest score I've ever got in Pac-Man. Once I finally sort of stopped tripping over the slowness of the early stages. Then I hit these later stages where I would usually have been biting it a lot. Just because of the speed of the game. But I was actually just, it felt like a comfortable speed, and I was just racking up points. Oh, I did that wrong. Doggone it. Dadgummit. Whoa, okay. Dadgummit, I like how I've started to curse like an old guy, which I guess I am, so that makes sense. It could happen to you. I suppose people just cursed this way in the olden times when they didn't want to be saying bad words. Why was I not doing anything about that? I don't know. I'll just run right into the ghost. Okay. Well, let's try to get it together. So, I was hoping that these GBA versions would just be kind of a cute little graphical change of pace, basically, but something about the way that Pac-Man collection ran just wasn't right. So far, this feels better somehow. Well, like I said, like Miss Pac-Man starts at a faster speed than Pac-Man normally, like the arcade versions. Oh my goodness. Oh. So that probably helps the feeling. No. There, it does still have that certain sluggish sensation to it. Maybe it is like it has a input delay difference. I don't. Ah, jeez. Oh, dang. That was brilliant. Oh, the heck. Like, this definitely feels like it's kind of running slow. Like, I feel like I have more time to correct for my stupid blunders, which should have gotten me killed by now here. Yeah, the sound is definitely much better in this version. I mean, I guess it could be the emulator is just not having problems with this for some reason, whereas it... But I don't think it was an emulation problem exactly. I think the sound samples in the Pac-Man collection weren't clean somehow. Kind of staticky. Oh, that was a slight mistake. Oh, shit. Oh, God. How am I still alive? The ghosts are going easy on me. Or it's running a little slower. Yeah, so the overall effect that I ended up experiencing with the Pac-Man one, although it took me like 2 hours of dying stupidly, oh, there's a stupid death, was that eventually, even though it was frustratingly difficult for me not to do stupid stuff and die in the early stages, once I got to a later stage, it was much easier than it should have been. Oh my gosh. So here I'm doing stupid stuff. So maybe it's the same thing. Like if I could get to the red dot stages, like the maze after the blue stage I was on there, or had the blue maze I was on there. You're on that for 3 stages. Then, maybe I would start doing better. Because everything would be moving faster and I might not have the sensation that it's moving too slow. Oy, that was, yeah. Either that or maybe it just took like 2 hours. After 2 hours of beating my head against the whatever it was that wasn't sitting right with me in the Pac-Man one, my brain was just dead enough to the point where having the game running slower was good because I was just so out of it. Oh my gosh. There was also this weird thing with the Pac-Mans. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think it's the same thing where I feel like it's like subconsciously it feels slow, so I keep taking stupid risks, essentially, hanging around the ghost too much. I forget exactly what other point I was trying to make before that, but it couldn't have been that important. I hope. I mean, it's not like I discuss anything actually important in these videos, thank goodness. We're just goofing off and having fun, or trying to. Serious stuff is for the birds. Oh, also, oh no, you do see yourself past the edge of the tunnel. That happened in the Pac-Man one. Oh, that's right, there was a thing in the Pac-Man. Yeah, a thing in the Pac-Man one where the collision detection, or whatever you would call it, on some of the tasty treats, the fruit, the little ones, tips. Oh, did this have tips? There were some interesting tips in the Pac-Man one. I don't think this had tips. No, it doesn't have tips. Some of the tips in the Pac-Man one were actually useful. Like, what was it? You move faster? Well, I don't know if this one was useful, but it wasn't something I knew. Apparently you move a little faster when the ghosts are blue. You know, when the power pellet's going. And the other thing was you take corners faster when ghosts are close to you, which is definitely not something that I had ever realized. So that was kind of cool to have as a tip. But yeah, like especially on the strawberry in the Pac-Man one, you could get almost what felt like all the way through the strawberry and it still wouldn't act as though you had eaten it. It was weird. God, that spot right there I'm having a lot of trouble with in this. Oh, no sound played there. Sound not playing sometimes when eating something is a problem that I ran into in the PS1 Namco Museum Volume 1 version of Pac-Man when running it in the full screen mode of that PS1 collection. But when I ran it in the scrolling mode on PS1, it didn't have problems with it. Didn't drop sound. Or wait, no. No, I'm wrong. The sound thing persisted. That one ran a little slow. That was the thing. On the PS1 version, in the full screen mode, it ran a little slow. But in the scrolling version, in the scrolling mode, it seemed to run more or less at the normal arcade speed. But there was something specific that made that easy to tell. What was that? It was just that there. I can't handle that part of the maze. I just something's wrong. Something's wrong with me. Dang it, Clyde. Oh, Clyde's all over that pretzel. Uh-oh. That did not go the way I had tried to tell it to go. That part of the maze, man, that's like my, what do you call it? Bermuda Triangle. I think it's maybe more of a quadrilateral, roughly speaking, but... I definitely get a sensation when playing these GBA versions that I can't react as easily. So I sort of end up playing in this sort of tentative way because, like, I know it's gonna be harder to do quick course corrections. That's just like the feeling I think I'm getting. Now if I was like trying to do this actually like some kind of professional, like I don't know what professional would be trying to analyze this. I guess I would try to measure the, at least estimate the input. Wow, how did they turn around right before they got there? Try to measure the input delay. I mean, I can do a very rough measurement. I don't have, like, diodes wired up or anything to a controller, but I could just do a rough estimate using cell phone footage, basically. But, I don't feel like doing that. It is what it is. It ain't gonna get any better. I tried the Pac-Man collection in the other GBA emulator that I've used before. What the heck? I keep forgetting the name of that one, though, even though I just had it installed like 2 days ago now. Oh, it's like Visual Boy Advance or something like that, maybe. Visual Boy Advance M. That's it. Or something very close to that, because I was abbreviating it VBAM. Oh, you're not a fruit. You're a ghost. Well, I got the strawberry. I wonder if the fact that the fruit is moving, because the strawberry here looks similar to the strawberry in the Pac-Man collection. I mean, by similar, I mean like pretty close to the same chunky sprite. But not having collision detection problems with it, I wonder if that has something to do with the fact that it's moving around the maze instead of a static object. But yeah, picking up the fruit in the Pac-Man collection could be very... very strange. You would just go like all the way into the fruit and it was still sitting there. Oh. Well, I couldn't react to that. I'm just not paying attention maybe, but who knows. I know that when I go and pick up, go fire up one of these games in MAME, like right after or before playing one of them in the mGBA, it just, just feels a lot nicer in MAME. Which it would not be surprising at all, but... See, now you get to the blue stage and it definitely feels faster, which it should, because the game generally speeds up level by level. Oh, rats. Chase the fruit like a dope. Dang it, Clyde. But yeah, like this feels like it's a little too slow, because I shouldn't really feel like I can sort of comfortably run. See, I was saying like I felt like I can't really change directions quickly to react to ghosts, but like at that point I also felt like I was sort of comfortably cruising circles around the ghosts if I could tell in advance where they were sort of going, like when they were pursuing me. When they're in pursuit mode, it's much easier to predict their movement, of course. Oops. What am I doing? Oh, come on. Duh. So, not doing too hot. I guess I came... Was that in this session? I guess it must have been. I haven't played another real session. I guess I came kind of close to my normal target score of 40,000. But not doing so hot right here. My gosh. See, I think there is my brain just seeing the speed of the ghost as it's approaching that corner and thinking, well, I know I'm faster than that. And that's why I keep going, thinking I'll make that, but then I'm not actually moving that fast because the game's running a little slow. Is that what problem I'm running into? Like, my MAME instincts tell me I'm at this stage I'm faster than that, and I shouldn't be able to make that because of how slow the ghost was going, but it's actually not moving that. Miss Pac-Man's actually not moving that fast in this GBA version, and I get caught. But then how did the stopwatch time come out pretty much identical? I don't know. Maybe it was just a fluke. But it was like within 3/100ths of a second, and I'm not that precise on hitting the start and stop on the stopwatch, so that, I guess, that seems like more likely that it could have been a fluke rather than that I had pressed the start and stop buttons that accurately on both the MAME loop and the GBA loop. I don't know, I'm not explaining this clearly, and I'm just sort of babbling about stupid stuff nobody's gonna understand right now, which is, I suppose, par for the course on this channel, so carry on, my wayward son. Just blow it all to catch your stupid fruit, which you don't even remember which way it goes, and then it doesn't play its normal fruit pickup sound. I didn't hit the sound not playing thing so much in the Pac-Man one. Whoops, hello. Didn't quite mean to. There's gotta be something a little off with some of the movement speed, because I just keep running into stuff in weird ways. I did that a lot early on in the Pac-Man one. I was like running into the backs of ghosts at corners like that, and just like, wait, like, my instinct, my instinct was off there somehow, and I think it's just something weird with movement. Actually, I did notice with this, not even without the stopwatch, I would run in the Pac-Man one, the Pac-Man collection on GBA. I tried running a course around, sort of the full course around the whole screen. You know, there's a big sort of vertical passage on either side. Well, basically the farthest side passage on either side is a big vertical path that covers most of the length of the maze up and down in Pac-Man. And so I tried running a big loop around that, around the maze. And on the first stage in MAME Pac-Man, it worked fine. It was clear of ghosts. But running the same loop in the GBA collection, there was a ghost in the way somehow, trying to run that loop. I just, a bigger loop would have made for a better test. But I couldn't run that same route loop between the MAME version and the GBA version, because there was a ghost in a different spot on the GBA version. I think it was Clyde. And I don't think it was an AI thing. I think it was movement speed for the ghosts was different, or maybe for for Pac-Man, or for Bowles. Somehow. I wonder if it is doing, it couldn't be just doing a scaling thing, right? That would be like processor prohibitive. But then why did they leave that weird trailing, flickering corner on Miss Pac-Man's rear end there as she moves through the maze? I was brain dead there. I guess it must have looked weirder to not have that there in her, but I can't Can't really see the other frame of the animation. Oh, fine. Still doing bad. Wow. My brother and I were playing the, that's not gonna work. Dang. Oof. The Tengen version, the Tengen NES Miss Pac-Man. I uploaded a little bit of that where you're playing the co-op mode, but and there's totally different levels you can play in that, which is what we were doing and playing it co-op, because you can play simultaneous with Pac-Man as one player playing Pac-Man, one player playing as Miss Pac-Man, which is pretty fun. Uh-oh. And the game gives you some continues. And so we eventually got to like a stage like 17 or something in this one mode of funky stages. But at that stage, like, it's to the point where you eat a power pellet and the ghosts don't turn blue at all. They just keep going. The only noticeable difference is that they do a little reverse. They change direction, but they don't actually turn edible. And I believe that happens in the regular game if you can get that far in Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man. There's a stage, at least one stage where... Ugh, see, that was just... It felt really sludgy to try to change direction there. Eventually there would be at least one stage where eating a power pellet would not make the ghosts edible. Which is rough, but, you know, we had continues and stuff, and so we got through it eventually. And, of course, in that game you have, like, a speed boost effect you can turn on if you want, so we were boosted to the max. I suppose it's most likely an input delay thing. That was gnarly. I suppose a problem for trying to test input delay, though, is that it's easier to test input delay, at least if you're using a crude method like I am. But even if you had a diode rigged up, it's easier to test input delay if you've got like a single button press action that produces a definite visual reaction on screen. Whereas, of course, Pac-Man doesn't use a button. So how would... I don't know, you'd have to wiggle around somehow. I don't know how you would do it, actually. Not that I want to, so that's just as well. I'll just pretend that it's impossible for me to do it in any sort of, even a rough way. I mean, I could get some kind of shooting game or something with a button. I probably still got some GBA game sitting around that I've dumped that it has some kind of button reaction that would suit that, but that wouldn't necessarily tell me what input delay is in this game, because it could be different. And, you know, it felt a little more responsive in the scrolling mode. Ah. It's typical for me though on these blue stages. I generally, even in the arcade version, struggle to get through 3 blue stages without dying at least once. So, oh my gosh, that was not great. It's all over. Gosh dang it. Yeah, it definitely feels hard to, like, wiggle back and forth quickly on the old dual shock pad in this versus in MAME. Oh, I kind of saw that slowly developing into a bad situation, and I should have just eaten the pellet. Oh, jeez. That also was feeling like a bit of a train wreck. Fortunately, the other ghosts didn't wander over there. Oh my goodness. Still one more. Now we're reaching a cruisy style speed. Jeez, that little nexus right there, I'm having difficulty with the speed estimates. I keep getting myself trapped up there. It's the same thing. So, I don't think I can play these GBA ones as just sort of cute, chunky graphical alternatives to the arcade game. The gameplay, the reaction, something is just profoundly off. Subtly yet profoundly off. Ugh. I guess it could be... Oh, that was brainless. It could be the ghost speed specifically is different. Because if I timed with the stopwatch the time it took for Pac-Man to get around part of the maze. But what I didn't time, of course, was the time it takes for ghosts to get around the maze. So I wonder if the ghost speed specifically is different. Because I did notice that I couldn't... I mean, I came close to clocking the ghost because I did try running the bigger loop you can run around the Pac-Man maze. And the ghost Clyde, I believe it was, specifically ended up in a different position in the GBA version than he got to in the MAME version, and he ended up being in the way in the MAME version, or in the GBA version, whereas he wasn't in the way of me doing the big loop in the MAME version. So I was thinking, well, I mean, I noticed that, and I didn't have an explanation off the bat for that, but I see, Just not something that just is off in my brain calculations when I try to play these GBA ones. But, yeah, I suppose it could be more of a difference somehow in the ghost's speed. Ah! Shoot. They're all on my buns. That was dumb. Wiggle. Oh no! Oh. Get out of here. Whoopsie. My wiggling was totally out of control. Oh, heck. I don't want to go up there. It's too... I do really badly up there. Oh. Sheesh. Now that was bad. I should have tried charging into the ghost, because at least in the arcade version there's a chance you could go straight through the ghost without being detected as being touched by the ghost. And live. I haven't seen any evidence that that is possible in the GBA versions. I did not manage to do that in the Pac-Man version on GBA. And it hasn't happened so far in Miss Pac-Man. I mean, it doesn't happen often in the arcade version, but I have done it in the PS1 version of at least one of the games. I think, or did I go through a fruit? The fruit hit detection is definitely non-problematic in this one, which is nice. I don't know how they screwed it up so bad in the Pac-Man. Uh-oh. Oh my gosh. Dang. Oops. God, I can't... My Bermuda quadrilateral... I'm gonna have to just call it a... I don't want to play this for 2.5 hours like I did Pac-Man to get a ridiculous score. Like, I went from getting a completely crummy score, even by my standards, to getting my best score ever in Pac-Man. I can't... Let's try to make this the last one, and I want to try a little in the scrolling mode. I guess I can't really tell, because it'll be, the not being able to see the maze or the things in it from one side to the other makes it just play a lot different, because it's, just changes everything. But I would at least maybe be able to feel a difference in the speed or responsiveness or something. Right now I'm thinking the most likely thing for the difference is that it's, well, there's probably a little input sluggishness, but I think something to do with the movement of the ghosts is a little, the speed, or maybe like they're cornering or something, is just the timing is a little off on the ghosts. But it could be off on the player character too. I don't know. I guess I can't put a whole lot of faith in that. Oh, that was dumb. Stopwatch thing, since I was just kind of eyeballing the start and stop, or at least the stop. See, there I felt like I could barely arrest my movement to get out of that. And I use, I play the main version on the same DualSense pad. So it's not a difference in controller. I think they may have cut one of the animation frames out of Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man. I think there's like one frame less in their animation. Oops. Yeah, I can't do the wiggle. I can't juke a whole lot. I'm gonna die. Why did I do it? And I haven't even got to the red dot stage. Oh man, see, I can't. I mean, that's gotta be an input delay thing there. I just can't. Ugh. Wow. Either that or now I'm intentionally reacting slowly to convince myself that I can blame it on input delay. I wouldn't put that past myself. Hey. Oh no. Pinky, why did you go that way? Oh my gosh. Oh. Uh-oh. Let me out. Clyde, you silly goose. No fruit eaty sound. Oh. I made it to a red dot stage. Now if I can get a couple fruits. Well, on the first stage they aren't worth that much. Because my score right now is not so great. 40,000 is still a ways off. I do have an extra life. Jeez. I got pear in my eyeballs. The pear lust blinded me. Ugh. Oh no. God, only 32. No. Stupid. Stupid. I should have just gone, if I had just gone for the power pellet and looped around, that would have been enough dots to summon the fruit. Get another pellet, get the fruit, that would have been 40k. Instead, I just ran into the red ghost. Which is the one place I shouldn't have been going. Oh, regrets. I missed a turn. Oh my gosh. Alright, I can't keep playing that. It's got the same. Okay, so let's do scroll. It's got the same sensation of strangeness that Pac-Man had. Now this definitely feels smoother. That could just be the scrolling is smoother because the resolution is higher. I mean, effectively higher. Why didn't I go? Well, but see there, like you're scrolling, so I couldn't see that ghost really who came from the bottom and cut me off. Although they were still edible if I had gone fast enough, but I was freaked out enough that I didn't think of that at first. See, now I didn't blow the timing there, so maybe the timing is better in this mode. Ugh. And the reaction feels better too, like I was able to turn around right in the face of that ghost. It's funny, I was kind of surprised to find in the PS1 version that when I switched to full screen, no, to scrolling screen mode in the PS1 version of Pac-Man, not in Miss Pac-Man, but the Miss Pac-Man on PS1 came out 2 volumes later, so it feels like they've worked out whatever the performance issue was for the full screen mode in that volume 3 that had Miss Pac-Man, but in the Pac-Man on PS1, full screen mode was definitely running a little slow. I never even remember which way the fruit goes. Ah. And see there, I wasn't sure I hadn't left any dots down in the lower half of the screen. I kind of thought I had. Well, I don't know if it's evident by looking at it, but I should have just come straight. Clyde wasn't gonna come after me. This scrolling version definitely feels more responsive. Maybe that's just an illusion. Or maybe it's an illusion that the full screen version that it's not responsive, but there's definitely something off in the full screen version. Maybe just my reaction to it, but something's wacky. Oh, well, there we go. The classic Pinky and... what the heck? I can't even... I haven't remembered the Red Ghost's name forever now. What's your name, Red Ghost? Oh, I failed to eat you. I don't remember any of your names. There's like 2 of them in the Japanese version. 2 names, I mean. Are there two in the Americans? Because in the Japanese version, it's like their real name and then a nickname or something like that. It seems like it's quadrilateral. Well, can't, judge like how well I do. I can't compare it directly to the non-scrolling version because it's just so much. I get thrown off so much by the not being able to see the full extent of the maze and where everything is at a glance that I don't do nearly as well in scrolling modes. So I can't use that as a comparison basis for like, is this playing like the arcade version? Because I won't get anywhere near the same scores anyway. But just in terms of first impression feels-wise, it feels a lot more like the smoothness of the arcade version and the reactiveness. That's probably not a word. See, I don't think the full screen version was going this speed. And like the ghosts didn't feel like they were coming that close to catching up to me either. Like their closing speed seems like it was different. See, I can't juke like that in the full screen version. I definitely cannot juke like that in a full screen version. That was just... I mean, now it's running too fast for me to control, right? So yeah, it's funny how these console ports, at least the PS1 version of Pac-Man, not of Miss Pac-Man, but of Pac-Man. And I think I didn't try a much scrolling mode in the Pac-Man collection on GBA, but at least here in the Miss Pac-Man one, it just seems to run much better in the scrolling mode. They just can't handle the full maze, you know? Which is weird. Like, you know, the GBA could pump out some stuff. You'd think it would be able to handle a full maze display. I got to... attention. I got to wondering if, like, in the PS1 version, if, like, was it just doing, like, was it actively scaling the graphics down every frame to generate the... Or... Wait, no, what was I thinking? Was it... It would have been like... I don't even know. I don't know how game graphics work, really. I still do think they've, like, maybe cut out a frame of Miss Pat. Well, yeah, because... in the arcade version, she can open her lips one frame wider, can't she? It seems like she's just alternating between two mouth positions, and I kind of noticed a similar thing in Pac-Man. I think they took out their widest open mouth position, because in the arcade version, they've got a mouth position that's open much wider. And that's like the one I always try to capture in screenshots, because it's kind of easier to see that they're going around eating things with the mouth just super wide open. try to capture that one in screenshots I use for the thumbnails and other versions of these games. Okay. Doggone it. Well, I should have been dead. The fruit greed should have killed me there. Oh, I did that wrong. Oh my gosh. Uh, Some turns, but I think that's just me not being on the ball. Where are the other ghosts? Oh, there's one of them. There's another one. Dang it. God. I'm getting distracted trying to monitor the other ghosts because they keep moving off screen or say it's all throwing me off. These are good excuses, right? I don't think I left any dots up above, but who knows? We'll find out. Shouldn't have done that. Okay, let's just compare the speed. I'm gonna stop trying to play this game. Let's just compare the speed here. Stage 1. That was good. Okay. Wait, yeah, okay. No. That's the one. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, as soon as I turned a corner, there was a weird delay. So, maybe it's like there's a cornering speed with Miss Pac-Man in this mode. Or maybe that was just... Yeesh. So it's not just it's not a flat-out movement speed difference, and that explains why the stopwatch was the same loop speed between Pac-Man GBA and Pac-Man MAME. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, just cutting through that tunnel there is like, there's this weird slowness through there. Like, that's slower than it should be. You don't... I mean, it could just be... You don't get that speed boost you're supposed to get when you take a tight corner. And maybe it was just that they... Well, yeah, because when you... Ugh. See, when you take a corner, you kind of... You're supposed to get like a little pixel when you're pushing the direction in advance of the turn. You're supposed to get like kind of like a pixel extra distance around the corner. Basically, you just get this little boost, and it's small. It's like a pixel ahead of where you might have thought you would be taking that corner, but it adds up, you know. So if you're taking tight corners, you essentially travel faster than you would normally. Oops. But I don't think that's quite kicking in here, and maybe it's just because the resolution's so low they couldn't. If they had given you that pixel extra distance as you took if you took a corner holding the control tightly in advance, sort of buffering the turn, then it would have been too big a speed boost. Because the pixels here are like twice as big. So they just took it out. I mean, that's kind of awful. That's not the problem that PS1 Pac-Man had full screen. That was just an actual... It wasn't running fast enough. The whole game was not running fast enough. At least once it got to a faster stage, it couldn't keep up with the speed at which it was supposed to be executing. But here, yeah, it feels like you're tripping as you go around these corners, because do you see that? It's like it's setting you back from where you're supposed to be. You feel like you were supposed to be a little ahead of this, but it's not putting you there like it does in... Oh, it feels like you're tripping, man. I'm tripping. But here you're skipping. See? See how she squirts ahead just a pixel or so? around these corners. No. And here you don't. It's, ugh. Yeah, it's a terrible feeling. That's why this feels sluggish, because you don't get that pixel boost. Ugh. I can't believe it took me that long to figure it out. So I guess they just couldn't do it. They didn't have the pixel of the right size to boost you with. And they didn't want to boost you one of these chunky pixel sizes because that would have made you like way too fast taking corners. Well, dang, so you're kind of stuck playing the scrolling version if you want it to feel right. Yep. It's funny, so there was another version of both Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man on GBA because, so these initial collections came out in 2001, like early to mid 2001. This Namco Museum one with Miss Pac-Man came out a little before the Pac-Man collection, as it was called, with Pac-Man. But then in 2005, they were both in another collection on GBA that was called Namco Museum 50th Anniversary. And that was done by a different studio. That was Digital Eclipse. This is, I think Mass Media is their name. Mass Media did a bunch of the versions of Namco Museum on various consoles, including like PS2 and I think Xbox. They also did the Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness on Dreamcast. But Digital Eclipse did Namco Museum 50th Anniversary Collection. Was there a collection on the end of that name? I don't know. And that's actually the game that I had on GBA back in the day. I had that one. I didn't have these earlier collections. And that one is more like an emulated version, whereas this is more like a port rather than an emulated version. And I don't know if it seems a little unlikely that 50th anniversary one really could have been the arcade ROM running in an emulator on a GBA, but maybe it was. I don't know. And in those, well, it was funny, in those you did have various screen options, and you just like toggle it live with the shoulder button, I think. Which would be kind of easy to overlook in a way, because there's no hint of it in the menu. It was probably in like the paper manual or something, I don't remember. Oops. So here I totally forgot where the dots were that I still had to get. Yeah, so in 50th Anniversary Collection on GBA, they ran, it felt like more of an emulator situation because you could toggle like the screen orientation live, so you could toggle between, like horizontal and vertical. Jeez, I still die there even now. And like you could stretch it to like widescreen and stuff, and so it kind of toggled through all those various options. the thing that I liked at the time was that, you know, you could... Well, so it's full screen mode because this was on a handheld. Nuts. Oh my gosh, I couldn't tell where he was coming, that he was coming from there. Its full screen mode was a rotated screen, right? And so, you know, you can't do that on a console version because you would have had to turn your head sideways or turn your TV sideways, which you actually do with the PS1 version, even though they tell you don't rotate your screen. I don't know what they expected you would do. Or no, yeah, they do tell you that, don't they? Like, to cover their own butts legally, I suppose. Oh shit. Oh no, still can't do it. So yeah, what I liked about that, because I was playing it actually in the GBA player on GameCube. And so if you played GBA 50th Anniversary, Namco 50th Anniversary Collection, Namco Museum 50th Anniversary Collection, on the Game Boy player on GameCube, and switched it to the full screen mode, it would effectively turn your screen sideways, but then I could turn my monitor sideways and have a tape, you know, as they call it. Oops. Tape Miss Pac-Man running in more or less arcade resolution. And it played pretty well. So that was like the best, most arcade accurate version of Miss Pac-Man I had available at the time, you know, 2005, I guess. Although... I must have had the Namco Museum Volume 3 version of Miss Pac-Man at that point, and I could have... Oh wait, let's see. Yeah, I could have played that in the rotated screen mode, and that should have been at least as close to the arcade version as the GBA. Oh, jeez. That's the GBA one, right? I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, I thought that was kind of cool at the time. But actually, the graphics in that, so it's kind of like a sort of crummy emulator in that the graphics are kind of all blurry because it's like they're scaling, you know, from the arcade resolution, which doesn't quite match the, like even in scrolling screen mode in Namco Museum 50th, the graphics are kind of, they, you know, they look like blurry and rescaled, like it's an emulator rescaling to from arcade screen resolution that's somehow different than your native screen resolution. So I kind of appreciated the sort of cute, redrawn, low-res, full-screen version in these earlier GBA ports. But, yeah, they do have that problem. They're basically relying, their physics, as it were, for cornering is relying on, or, well, is reliant upon the screen resolution of the game, of the maze, of the corners of the maze at that size, and they couldn't scoot you around the corner at the right distance, so they just didn't let you give, they didn't give you that corner boost, and that's kind of necessary. Man, without corner boost, Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man feel terrible. I can't believe it. I can't believe they would do that to people. They gave them a Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man without corner boost. Look at this. You're just crawling. It feels awful. Oh my gosh. Ugh. That's what it is, man. Took me over 4 hours probably to figure that out. 4 hours of playing these two collections. Ugh. Well, this is interesting though because, okay, so thinking ahead here to the next pack-isode. Can't believe me it took this long to think of the word pack-isode, or the non-word pack-isode, or what would you call that, a portmanteau, but it's not exactly the same thing. Anyway, I do have another chunky pixel handheld full screen version. I knew I wasn't going to get there, and I forgot that I wasn't going to get the little boost around the corners, so that made it even worse. Yeah, so that's what, I mean, that throws the timing of everything off. It throws your movement calculations off, because you think, if you're used to any vaguely legitimate version of these games, that you're going to get that, or even if you were playing it in the, if you were used to playing it here and you just went to try the full screen version, you'd be used to the speed at which you get the little boost around corners, and then you go and try it in full screen, and you're like, why am I getting caught at these corners by the ghosts all the time? Or why, when I took that corner and thought I was going to catch that ghost or get past that ghost, why didn't I get past the ghost? And I suppose my stopwatch time was so close to the arcade version because the loop I was taking in the Pac-Man maze, it only had, I guess there's more than 4 corners because there's a little juke around the lower bit, but it wasn't that many corners, so it wouldn't have affected it that much. You know, you would have just been off, your position would have been behind by like 8 pixels. Because you hadn't taken that many corners. Well. Okay, so yeah, so I have one more version of a pack game to play that I actually have recorded this other version before for the channel. Now, did I leave some dots up above? I must have. I think there's a whole power pellet up here in there. But nope. Nope. Oh, no. Oh, the scrolling maze. I have recorded this version once or twice before, like years ago. Well, not, maybe a little over a year. I don't remember exactly. But I didn't really play it much, and I wasn't paying a huge amount of attention to how it played versus, you know, how, like, arcade-like it actually played. Oh, my precious strawberry. So now, I know to keep an eye out for if you get the corner boost. So this other version I'm going to be playing in the next pack-isode is a terrible I can't keep saying that. Anyway, it does offer both full screen and scrolling screen versions. I was intending to play it in the full screen version, which has like super cute, super deformed, chunky graphic versions of the characters. But we'll have to see how it handles the cornering. Because, yeah, that makes a huge... I mean, you can't have Pac-Man without the little corner speed boost. It's terrible. And now I can say that for sure because I've been trying to play without corner boost for all these hours in these collections. Oh my gosh. Am I gonna keep these? Right now I don't really want to, but I don't really want to sell them. I guess I'll keep them. I don't know. It's not like they're go for much on eBay anyway. Might as well keep them then. At least GBA cartridges are tiny, right? Oh no. I mean, they play fine. At least this one does, and I think the Pac-Man one played fine. Scrolling here so you can't see stuff. See, I don't know where the pixels are, the dots are. Like, for a while I tried it with this, actually it was with this other version that I'm going to play. I tried to convince myself with that one that it was more fun to play it in the... Oh my gosh, they just pulled a formation on me. That it was more fun to play it without being able to see where everything was. It added mystery and suspense, but... I gotta say, I much prefer, having been playing the arcade versions in MAME, now I definitely prefer being able to see the whole maze at once, you know. Jeez, I don't know what I was thinking there. So yeah, anyway, that'll be the next. These 2001 GBA versions, they look cute in the full screen mode, but they don't play right. That's for darn sure. Oh well. I mean, I guess they play different, so in that sense it's sort of a novelty. It's interesting to have seen and have felt how profound a difference it is just missing that corner pixel boost. Oh, nice. I just dumped my phone on the floor. So, you know, I learned something, I guess, from this horrible experience. Yet again, I spent way too long flailing around trying to figure out what it was. So, is my pain your gain? Did this, hopefully this proved at least, I can't even, this wouldn't have been amusing. I don't know what it was. Anyway, short version, don't play these GBA versions. Probably, I don't think 50th has this problem because it's like doing this emulation style scaling, so it's probably consistent with its physics. It's pixels and physics, but these two little, you know, sort of half-size collections that came out before 50th anniversary collection. So this Namco Museum one, just plain Namco Museum, doesn't have any 50th anniversary tagged onto its name. And then the one called Pac-Man Collection shortly after, which has like the other half of the games, including Pac-Man. It's funny that Miss Pac-Man was the one that came out first. I think I had that right, looking at the release dates on GameFAQs. These ones just, they didn't have, you know, fancy emulation that could track the true physics pixel size for cornering, so they couldn't, I guess they just couldn't base the the cornering boost by moving you a pixel ahead because the pixels were too big. So they just decided, we won't give him a boost. It would be too powerful. So we'll just not give a boost around the corners in full screen mode with the chunky corners. You get no corner boost, and it's awful, and it's subtle, and you'll feel it immediately. I mean, I felt, well, I didn't. I'm sure I felt it subconsciously when I first started playing the Pac-Man one, but I didn't realize for a while that it was off. I didn't realize it until I realized that I kept dying, and I couldn't figure out why. Why was I underestimating the distances? I thought it was somehow the distances. But no, it was the cornering speed was off. And, well, they do also feel, it does also feel like, it does feel like they're a little more input delayed in full screen. Maybe not really. Yeah, it's just once you take a corner, there's this sudden feeling of sluggishness, and then you start to lose confidence that you have full responsiveness in the game because you felt this sluggishness. And you start to feel like it's running slowly, but it's not running slowly, it's just you're cornering slowly. So, yeah, that's what it is. It's just the cornering. Or, I mean, there might be some slight slowdown elsewhere, but I think it's significant compared to the cornering, that's for sure. Oh, the cornering is hideous, but it's insidiously subtle until you've figured it out, and then you notice it every time. I just feel like rubbing myself around these corners like a cat scratching itself on a corner of a dresser or something. What if cats got a speed boost when they rubbed around the corner of your furniture? Well, if they were Pac-Man or Pac-Woman cats, they should get a speed boost, but if you were playing this collection in full screen mode, they wouldn't. And that would suck. So it is kind of funny, though, that, I mean, obviously the GBA had a wide screen, so, I mean, in that sense, the 50th anniversary collection by Digital Eclipse did it the right way, whereas for full screen, they rotated the whole screen around 90 degrees so it could fit on the widescreen screen on the GBA. Whereas in this one, they kept it, horizontally oriented, like, so you didn't have to, flip your grip on the GBA and rotate it around. But, then they gave you these squished graphics, which look cute, but you don't get your corner boost. Oh, okay, so, well, that's it. Thanks for watching. And whatever you do, be sure you're getting your corner boost, because going through without the corner boost, it's not the right way to go. It's just not right. All right. So we'll see in the next and last game to analyze here in my little cluster of alternate versions of these two pack games. We'll see in this last one, how does it handle the corner? Okay, bye-bye.